Hello everyone. It is raining, so I'm just gonna show you where I am here. It is here. This is Upper Bidwell. It's beautiful. Everything is green right now, and it's actually drizzling. It's not that hard, but I cannot be outside otherwise I get soaking wet. So I just stay in my car and make this video today in my car. And besides, I left my house this morning also because I could not make the video in my house because there was a lot of noise next door. They were doing some carpet cleaning and they had some machine and was making an enormous amount of noise. So also kind of escaped the house a little bit here this morning to just be by myself and to be able to have this conversation with myself. And yeah, to also say hello to you, of course, wherever you are and whoever you are. And I just want to once more introduce you, if you haven't heard about it already. I want to introduce you to how I talk with myself. And this way of talking with myself that I am having right now, which is what I call embodied language, is something that everybody could have. Everybody could engage like I do in embodied language. And I am sitting here having embodied language by myself. And likewise, everybody could have embodied language by him or by herself. It's just a matter of you taking time to speak with yourself and to listen to yourself and to hear that you produce a sound which you like to hear, which you like to listen to. Because that sound is the sound which will reveal so much to you if you would listen to it. Yeah, if you continue to talk with that sound which you feel pleasant about, that you feel like, yeah, I like to hear myself when I sound like that. Yeah, and I also appreciate what I'm saying when I sound like that. It's interesting how these two go together. And so it's interesting also that while you have what I call embodied language, you realize, of course, that that you have been involved in disembodied language in which you were not doing what I'm doing right now. Yeah, you were not listening to yourself and you were not producing that sound. And so by noticing the difference between the disembodied language, yeah, I call it disembodied language because you lose contact with your body in that way of dealing with language. You're not listening to yourself, so you're not in touch with your experience. But once you become attuned to your own experience, it is very simple. You listen to your own sound and you hear, oh yeah, this is what I sound like when I am true to myself. This is what I sound like when I am at ease. This is what I sound like when I like it. Yeah, when I like being me. Yeah, when I'm not myself, when I'm kind of out of sorts, when I am upset or stressed or frustrated or, carried away, then I cannot sound like that. But if I take time by myself to talk with myself and to hear myself and to be attuned with myself, then I will find this back again and again, every time. Always success guaranteed, effortlessly, without having to do any exercise, without having to, I don't know, go through anything in particular. Yeah, I'm not trying to work out some problem here. I'm simply listening to myself and I'm saying, okay, this is what I like to hear. This is how I want to be also. And how I want to be is, of course, how I really am. Yeah, this is very important, that when we say, I want to be like this or I want to be like that, well, is being like that or being like this, is that actually being who you are? If it is not, then then it's not going to be very fulfilling to even be that way. So if you wanting to be really yourself, then you need to listen to yourself. If you do not listen to yourself, you cannot be yourself. And if you do not talk with yourself, also, you cannot be yourself. You haven't been yourself because you have never done this. And once you start doing this, you realize that. You acknowledge that. You admit that, because it is true. And so what have you been doing then all this time? You have maybe said, like I was just saying, you were saying, oh, well, I want to be like this, or I want to be like that. But why do you want to be like this or like that? Why aren't you yourself? You see? And so once you begin to talk with yourself, it will become very, very clear that being yourself is not being like this or like that. Yeah? And being yourself is something entirely different. And once you get a sense of what that is by talking with yourself and by hearing yourself, you realize, like, oh yeah, of course it is like that. Of course it is not like this or like that. No, it is really true that you are yourself. You cannot just be like this or like that. There's all this being like this and that is not real, It's just you trying to be something which you're not. When you are yourself, you're not trying to be like this, like that. So, yeah. And, yeah. So, are you going to take time for that? And are you going to take time for that by yourself, because you cannot figure this out with other people. Other people are just like you, also not in touch with their embodied language. They are not doing this either. And nobody is doing this. And you are fortunate, actually, that you are listening to this video, because you get to hear someone who does this. And to my knowledge, there's only one other person who actually does this the way I do it. And her name is Annemiek. She is my best friend in the Netherlands. And she also makes videos, if the weather permits, because with weather like this, she cannot record, unfortunately. I can do it on my phone and then transfer it to my YouTube channel. But on my other channel, I have another channel. I sit in front of my laptop, and also when I sit in front of my laptop, sometimes the recording is not so good, because for some reason the reception is not so clear, or sometimes my connection with my router, it sort of just doesn't, I don't know what it is. It's not so good. Sometimes it is a little warped, but it's still good. But here on my phone, everything just works fine, Anyway, I'm sitting here by myself. I'm just talking with myself. I'm giving myself this present on this rainy day, and I sit here, just having a good time by myself, you could say. And I like doing this. And anyone who would be doing this would like it too. Would also like themselves doing this. So you would really get an appreciation for yourself. Yeah, self-appreciation, self-love, self-care, self-awareness also. Yeah, so it is a very interesting phenomenon to be able to talk with yourself and to recognize that, strangely, this is how you would actually like to talk with others. And yet, once you do this, you know that indeed it is true. Nobody talks like this. And if you were going to do what I'm doing here, if you were to also speak with yourself and sort of explore what this is for yourself, you would also have to admit and acknowledge that, yes, I can do this by myself, but nobody does this with me, or nobody can do this with me, because they can only do this with you if they do this themselves, with themselves. And so, we can only have embodied language together if we have had embodied language on our own. And to the extent that we haven't had embodied language on our own, we are incapable of having embodied language together. And that's why we do not talk like this with each other, which of course is ridiculous if you consider, why aren't we talking like this? Why aren't we talking peacefully? Why aren't we talking happily? Why aren't we talking full of understanding immediately, without any effort? Why aren't we talking in a way that we are always listening and always immediately getting it, what we're talking about? Why aren't we doing that? Why is that such a problem? Well, it is a problem because we do not realize that we are continuously engaging in disembodied language. In disembodied language, we do not listen to ourselves. In embodied language, what I have here, which I can also have with you, we would be all we would all be listening to ourselves, and we would, because of that, be listening to each other in the same way as we listen to ourselves, and we would talk with each other in the same way as we talk with ourselves. Yeah. I hear the soft rain on the roof of my car. I believe they played some Hawaiian music on the radio. Let me just see if it is on right now. I can maybe let you listen to some of the Hawaiian music they're playing. Oh, sorry.
Oh my gosh, so
Oh.
much fun, folks.
Oh,
I want to just do a shout out. Much mahalo.
oh, okay. This is their announcement, so I'll turn it on later. They're doing a fundraiser at the radio station, but I will play it again when they have some music on. Yeah, I'm not done recording yet. I'm still going to let it go on for a while. Let me see. Oh, I've done only 11 minutes. So I will go on till, let's go until 20 minutes. Okay, yeah. It's kind of nice to also set a limit to that you don't go over it. And if I do, then I know that I do. It's not that that matters, but I can sometimes be really elaborate and maybe it gets boring. I don't know. But then again, it may be boring for other people, but it is not boring for me. I like to do this, and I can just do this every day. I can just do it the whole day. It's just amazing how this is, that it is so good to me to do this. I've discovered this, and yeah, ever since I have done this, my life has just changed and has become better and better and better. And it just keeps on doing that. And so would your life be getting better and better if you would do this. But I haven't heard from you. So maybe some people listen to my videos once in a while, a couple of people maybe, not a whole lot. Yeah, my videos are not they're not going viral. No, that's okay. I'm doing this because I like to, and I'm not gonna put any effort in trying to reach people. Done all that, and I don't feel like I want to continue doing that anymore. I'm just doing this for myself, and if other people can relate to that, then that's a good sign. Let's see if the music is playing, okay? Okay. That's nice. Yeah. Have some music to talk on. I've done this before, where I use music as a sort of a background to talk with, and so that's what I'll be doing today a little bit for the last 5 minutes. Yeah. Oh, they don't sing in Hawaiian. That's too bad. They sing in English. So I just turn it down a little bit because I don't want to listen to anybody's text at this moment. I just only want to hear music. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I listen to the text of songs and I just go like, what are they singing about? You know, so many songs have been written, but what are they singing about? Have you ever considered that what are they singing about? They're singing actually always about their disembodied language. And they do not realize this, but they actually would like to have embodied language. but they can't get to it. That's the paradox of of life. That people are stuck in their disembodied language, and then they write books and they write papers and they write whole philosophies and whole songs and they write whole plays and they make movies and they make podcasts and they do all these things. They give seminars and workshops and they try to, I don't know, to be famous and all that kind of stuff, and they have a following and all that kind of stuff, but they still do not have what I have. They still do not have embodied language, even though they believe they do. And even though other people may actually believe they do. And of course they haven't called it that, they haven't called it embodied language. But it's their version of what they believe to be embodied language, but it isn't embodied language. Yeah. It would only be embodied language if they are truly listening to themselves. And to listen to yourself means that you're not busy with others, trying to reach them or trying to listen to them, trying to say something to them. You're just talking with yourself. And yes, if you're talking with yourself, then you embody your language, then you feel what you're saying. And then talking with others, people who are not me, is actually irrelevant. Because when I have embodied language and when we would be having embodied language together, we are not talking with each other as if we're separate. Then we are talking from that oneness. That oneness that everyone seems to want to have and nobody gets to. And then we can only fantasize about that and make a big deal out of it. But I don't make a big deal out of it. It's just simple. And if you hear this, and if you have any intelligence at all, if you happen to be someone who has read all these books, who has written these books, or who has, been up there, had your moment of fame and had your moment of, that you were climbing the ladder, yeah. If you have had all that, then you should know what I'm talking about. Because if you don't, you haven't learned anything. You're just aging, but you're just getting old, but you're not getting an advisor. Sorry, but this is just the way it is. Either we are becoming aware of ourselves, of who we are, and then we start to actually, it becomes more and more urgent that we get what I'm talking about. Because without getting what I'm talking about, you miss out on the most important thing in your life. So if you happen to be that person who, has gone through a lot and who has actually learned from that experience, if you happen to be that person who has some understanding about human psychology, who has a deep understanding of the nonsense which we call spirituality, because it replaces human interaction. It comes in the place of this real, genuine human interaction. So are you such a person who recognizes that regardless of what your religion is or what your so-called spirituality is, you still don't have this? You can't have this? With your meditation and with your prayer and with your mantras and with your, all your religious mumbo jumbo. Yeah. It's all just nonsense. We can talk. You can talk. You can hear yourself like I do. And then everything will become clear about your embodied language. So if you happen to be that person who who has this understanding that this is true, then you gotta get to this. You gotta get to this. You gotta explore this. You cannot just say, okay, I heard it, now go on with something else. No, you gotta go on with this. There's no other way. Yeah? This is not something to be minimized or to be avoided or to be denied. Yeah? You've denied this your whole life. So the question I have for you is, are you continuing to do that? Or are you going to finally say, like, okay, I'm going to do this? Because let's make no mistake about this. Either you're going to do this or you don't. And this is really a doing. This is an action that I'm talking about. It is an action to talk out loud with yourself and to have embodied language. It is an action to stop your disembodied language, your conditioning history in which you do not listen to yourself. You stop that. You begin to listen to yourself. You step out of that conditioning. You are hearing yourself. You can talk like this with yourself. You can talk like this with me or with anyone who listens to him or herself. And that process of ongoing embodied language, that is our language enlightenment. I look forward to hearing from you.